Hi, welcome back to another segment of At the Table with Shirley. I'm Shirley Chancellor, pastor of Lighthouse Christian Church in Bismarck, Arkansas. Today's topic is forgive anyway. Forgiveness is not just for other people. Most of the time, it's mostly because for us. It's for our benefit. It's a conscious decision to let go of the bitterness, hate, and resentment that just destroys everything around us and everyone, every relationship. I wrote a whole book about it. It could be toward a person or a group. And most of you know that I wrote a book called Deactivating Triggers, finding joy and peace in the middle of a chaotic and angry world. But there is a segment that I'd like to read to you, just a very short segment about forgiveness, because it seems to be very prevalent in our world today of one group hating another group, so one group not forgiving something in the history of another group, like the Jewish people or for their race, things that might have happened hundreds of years ago and have nothing to do with us who are here now, but there's still bitterness and resentment and hate, or maybe something happened to you as a child that you have a hard time letting go of, or as an adult, in different relationships, even if it's just a working relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a personal spouse or child. It could be for many reasons that we harbor resentment and have a hard time getting over it. But in one of my chapters, there's just a sub section called When You Forgive, You're Set Free. Freedom. Think about it. What is absolute freedom? Is it being able to come and go as you please? Not really, because you carry your burdens and worries with you if you haven't dealt with them. Is it the ability to say what you feel at the moment? No, because we suffer the consequences of ill-spoken words. We really do, don't we? Maybe it's having ample finances to obtain our heart's desire. No, not that either. We have seen many wealthy people take their own lives, and we think, why? They could have had anything they wanted. Money does not bring happiness or freedom. Freedom comes from repentance and forgiveness. The Word tells us in Galatians 5:1, at last we have freedom, for Christ has set us free. We must always cherish this truth and firmly refuse to go back into the bondage of our past. Look at the last phrase of this passage. Firmly refuse to go back into the bondage of our past. It's a conscious decision not to go back there. Here's the key to deactivating those triggers. Firmly refuse to go back. Peace, joy, confidence, love for others and ourselves. These are the outcomes of forgiveness. When we move and live with these traits, we can't help but release those same attitudes onto others. Stop here and think of someone you know who can enter a room. Think about it. And the whole atmosphere changes for the better. We all know someone like that. They just brighten up a room. People suddenly turn and smile, don't they? We can have the same effect on those around us. Now, I added for the better, for we all know people who can change the atmosphere in a bad way. Actually, it was me at one point. Was it ever you? This is what we're working to change, and we will succeed in changing it. For you and me, this is freedom. We no longer dread walking into a room and feeling defeated, rejected, guarded, unwanted, and so many other adjectives I could name. Once we have completely forgiven ourselves as well as others, it brings true freedom. Our smile is finally genuine. We no longer need to pretend that all is well. Oh, what a beautiful place to be. No longer having to pretend that all is well, because it truly is well. I watched a movie recently. It's out right now called The Forge, and a lot of it is about forgiveness, and they do a beautiful job of the redemption that can bring. But with everything going on right now in our society, and we're not going to agree with everyone. Other people are not going to vote the way we vote, and that's okay. We have to love them anyway. We have to forgive them anyway. I've read about people who have had the capacity to even forgive someone who killed their child, murdered their child. To me, that's the ultimate, when something happens to your child. And I think, wow, Lord, would I be able to do that? I certainly hope I never have to face that situation, but the forgiveness wasn't for the person who did it. The forgiveness was for them so that they could find their joy again, find their peace again, maintain their relationship with the Lord again. We're very quickly to blame the Lord when terrible things happen. And He's not to blame for those things. As hard as it seems at the time, we have to go back to our foundation and realize that, Satan is the God of this world. When bad things happen, we need to put the blame where it belongs. But for our happiness and our peace, especially as things go on, we're going to need each other. And for true freedom, we have to forgive. And we have to forgive ourselves as well. Once we've forgiven others, we have to forgive ourselves and let it go, because God has forgiven us. He's quick to forgive us, and He promises never to remember it again. He just wipes it from His memory. So join me in praying for ourselves and others who may have a problem in this area, and help them, teach them, disciple them. It's not easy to forgive. It's very hard to forgive sometimes, but it's so very necessary for our eternal lives and for the sake of those around us. So just think about it and help me pray about it. And thank you for joining me. And I'll see you next time. Bye.